Zeke the Antique Freak here, working on a set of European cabinets, and the original saw, as was wholly inadequate for what I'm doing here. Just for cutting up a sheet of plywood on a bit of a construction project, it was fine. But over the years I've done many changes to this thing. One is in the dust collection. As you can see, this it's an old Rockwell beaver, and I've boxed in the bottom, and it's given me a place to hang some tools and pushers and that sort of thing. I've got two dust collectors up to it. One is a homemade unit here that'll pull this the air down past the blade and in the cracks, and it goes to this contraption here. This is a dryer motor hooked onto an old oil can, and inside it is an old truck filter. So just it takes a long time to load up, and so every now and then I'll have to take that filter out and blow it out, or possibly I'll replace it with this one. I could only cut up to 24 inches between the fence and the blade, and that was getting to be a real issue working with full sheets. So I got the lathe out, and I made. Turns out that this tube is 1.125". So I got some 1.125" stock, lathed it down so it fit inside here, and it goes back to I think 5.25 inches inside here. And by putting a little electrical tape on, I was able to put these in really tight so that there's no way that it'll slide out when you're pushing with the sheet. For thin stuff, it can get underneath the edge here. So in that case, I've got this little piece of 1/2 inch material worked well just to guide the paneling and the 1/4 inch backing. So this worked out way better than I ever dreamt. This is 3 wheels on this unit here. It's 1 inch standard 1 inch square tubing, and you can see it also goes the other direction. And what I've done is I can pull this out when I'm putting on a full-size sheet. I can move this thing out, and as I'm cutting, I can push it back in and have it out of the way for my hips, and that works well. And if I want, I can drop that leg down to the floor and lock it there if I'm putting the full weight of a sheet on the end of this here. So this ended up getting a router in it. This was the other same extension table, and I put a router in it, and I can bring that up and do some trimming on there. Now it's not as handy as a standalone unit, but it works well for what I need. I can put the cutter up, then I can use a gauge block of some kind to measure the cutter height, and then later on if I want to use the saw and again the router, then I just bring that gauge block out and get it back to the same height to do the same process. I had to cut slots in here. That was for this cross slide thing here. So that just had to machine that out. That was no big deal. This is a roller system off of a big honking Woodmaster 25-inch planer. It worked well on here for handling the big sheets by myself. Now this, of course, the guards are removed for illustration purposes only, of course. This is hooked to a central vac. I picked a central vac up for $10. Stuck him in the corner, run some lines, and that pulls the fine dust off the blade, and I find I'm really good. There is a bit of dust here, some chips and stuff still come out, but the very fine stuff that hangs in the air gets pulled up by that unit. It works well, and then you can adjust different ends here. I can just change that out if I want to get it lower or whatever. And I didn't glue any of the pipes, so you can move this if you want to change the parameters. You can. This is a DIY project that was kind of cool. I had saved an X-ray developer. I saved all the rollers out of it years and years ago, and I was able to utilize this and as a side table or an outfeed table, however you want to word it. And it works well, and it's light enough that I can pick it up. I put some marks on the floor just with a felt marker so that I can put it in 2 different favorite positions, and then it's square with the table. So I took the wheels off this, obviously, to be able to put this Woodmaster outfeed table on, and I just stabbed them onto the side of the cabinet for storage, because I won't likely ever need them. So again, going with more dust collection, I fitted an old drawer into the bottom here, And then so the main bulk of the dust falls into this drawer and kind of seals it off. And I've been quite happy with it. It's worked quite well. I'm trying to work with full sheets and very accurately, dimensions less than a 1/16 on the final cuts, and I'm able to pull it off. There's nothing like a commercial saw with the sliding tables and everything, but we're doing all right. So anyway, there's all the most of the mods. Okay, here's the saw switch, and then I moved a switch right here for the homemade collector, and I put another switch here. This is low voltage, and that'll run that central vac. So that way I'm not running back around the room to turn stuff on and off. It's all in one central location. Zeke the Antique Freak, over and out.